Hello. We are heading off to Ballarat tonight to see our daughter and her partner, so Rachel and Oliver. And she's a bit of a chocoholic. So I said, would you like me to make a chocolate cake? Oh, yes, please, Mum. So I'm actually I'm going to make one. I'm going to do it manually. So I thought that might be an interesting thing because I know most of us just use the guided cooking all the time. But just to show you a little bit of juggling and how you can use your Thermomix manually. So the recipe, excuse my armpit, is from this book. This came out, it's Women's Weekly book. It's for thermal cookers. And I'm going to make the chocolate fudge cake, but I'm not doing the cherry bit. Okay, because that wouldn't go down well. It's fruit. Goodness me, swear word. All right, so I'm going to be reading that recipe, but doing everything manually on the screen here. So I'm just going to head towards the screen. Now, I did come back to me for a minute. I did read the recipe first, and in it there is almond meal required. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the almond meal. I need 240 grams of almond meal. So I'm going to bring up my scales. So my almonds are in a honey jar. Really, really important. This whole thing with Red Cycle about recycling your plastic. I'm still going to wash and dry mine and keep it, and then I can give it to them, you know, down the track, middle of next year, apparently. But if you can find ways of not using the plastic, please, please, please do. It's so easy to get complacent and not worry about it. But, you know, it's like my daughter, it's her future. And when she has kids, it's their future too. And so what we can do about it, we've messed up the planet for them. Let's try and do our best that we can with them. So I take this honey container. Yeah, I know it's plastic. It's not soft plastic. It's not the stuff that was is being an issue at the moment. But it means I'm reusing something. My husband goes through honey like you wouldn't believe. But I'm reusing this bucket. I take it to the source, bulk foods, and I fill up from there. So I'm not bringing any other plastic home. I'm reusing what I've got. So the aim of the game is to minimize what you actually bring into the house. So that's me on my soapbox. I'll get off it now and we'll get on with the recipe. So I need 240 grams. Whoops, 200. Oh, there we are. That'll do. So that's the end of that. You see, I've got numbers on the bottom here. So when you go into the source, they weigh your container with the lid on, and then they weigh after you've put whatever you're doing in it, and you pay what that is. All right. Okay, so to make I'm now coming back to my home screen, and I'm just gonna, so I could set this for 10 seconds and let it count down, but I'm gonna just turn to 10 on here and watch it count up. There we go. And just a little word, let people around you, if there are people around you, let them know what you're doing. Number of times I've been yelled at for just turning up, all right? So it is noisy because it's a stainless steel bowl and we're using hard nuts. So I'm just going to put my almond meal side into there. Scrape all this out. So scraping, always push down to the bottom of the bowl and go in a clockwise direction. Then you're hitting the rounded side of the blades, not the sharp side of the blades. Okay? As much as you can. You said that I have a couple of little nicks out of my spatula, but there you go. These things happen. All right, so that's what I had to pre-make. Now I've got to preheat my oven. $180. So my oven's on 180. And now I've got to put the chocolate in the mixing bowl. I have 360 grams of dark chocolate. I've got these little Calais things from Cookidoo. So I'm going to swipe to the left to get my scales up. And I'm weighing 360 grams. There we go. 360 grams. get rid of my scales, come back to my home screen. I'm chopping for 5 seconds on speed 6. Now, again, this is noisy, so just warn people nearby. So remember, whichever one of these is large, that's what this controls. So I'm going up to speed 6. Okay, touch the screen, that'll stop the noise. And I need butter, which I've forgotten to get out, but that's okay. So there's my chocolate. Some of it's chopped up really nicely, and some of it's still a little bit not chopped up, but that's okay. It's actually, I might chop it a bit more. I'm going to do it for 10 seconds. Oops, not that long. And go a little bit faster. That was 5 seconds on speed 10. Oh no, 7, sorry. Much better. See, that's quite a lot finer now. So, and I don't want to chop it for too long in case it gets a little bit warm and starts to clump together. So I'm just scraping around there. I've got that. Then I am adding butter. So I've got to get my scales up again. Got my butter here. I'm just using salted butter. And I have to put in 250 grams. Okay. So you could use unsalted if you want to. It's totally up to you. I do notice if you use the icing on this cake, then it is unsalted butter. I don't know. Sometimes I prefer one over the other. Sometimes a little bit of salt is very nice. And if I don't have enough of this, it's going to be unsalted because that's all I've got left. So put that in. How much more? 250 grams. Yeah, it might be a bit of unsalted coming this way. So bear with me. Just so you know, with recycling your butter paper, put it into, you can either keep it and use it to grease tins, or put it in some hot water. The 2 layers will come apart. I can see it's starting to peel here anyway, but if you put it in hot water, you actually have a papery layer and you have a foil layer. So they are recycled separately. Okay, 25 grams more butter. This is unsalted. So I usually have unsalted in the house because I make my own ghee, and the ghee is unsalted butter, and we are never without. So if we're running a bit short, make some more. So that's what your ghee looks like. It smells amazing, smells like caramel. And you can use it in all sorts of cooking. I've gone over on that. Okay, back to my home screen, and now I'm going to heat for 6 minutes. Six minutes. Heat. So heat 90 degrees. Speed 0.5. Okay. So we've got 6 minutes of that. So in that time, I need to prep my cake tin. I haven't actually done that yet. This is very much spur of the moment, but I just thought it good for you to see how you do things manually. All right. So I need a 20 centimetre cake tin, and I've got to extend the paper up above the sides. So let me grab my cake tin. I've got a rose gold tin from Mixer. I've got that there.
Okay, I'm reusing this, as you can see, but I have some of these, I earned them as an incentive. They are the liners or the bottom of this pan. So they come in different sizes. So I'm just going to actually stick a little bit of butter on the bottom so that that sticks in place. The butter. Oh. Do exactly as my mother used to do and use some of the butter off here. So put that on there so the paper stays in place and doesn't move. So I don't know about you, when I was growing up, we had butter papers in the fridge just for that very occasion. All right, so now I've got to make this, do this round up. That's it. So I'm going to have to cut that in half. Try and go thirds actually, because I don't think I'm going to have enough to go around. Put that on my shopping list. Add that to my Cookidoo shopping list next time. Say 2 centimeters above. Oh, 5 centimeters above. Okay. I'm going to have to do it in thirds anyway. That's how it's going to have to work. So. Let's just see how far around that goes. Yeah, it's not going to do half. So I'll do this. And I'm going to put just a little bit of butter on the inside edge of the tin. A little bit there because I didn't have much left on my. Put some on here. Spreading some onto my baking paper. This is the compostable baking paper, so that can go in the compost or in your. If you're lucky like us, have a council that takes all the food scraps, it can go in there as well. So that is the compostable brown paper. Okay, next lot. Then just putting some butter on the bottom so it will stick to the side. A little tiny bit more. So what I might do is do that. So again, a bit of this on the bottom. Stick that up there. So there is my tin, roughly lined. That's okay. All right. Now, what I will do, we've got a couple of minutes. Oh, goodness. Goodness me, I don't know if that came through to you, but that was something coming through on my phone. What I'm going to do is find Cookidoo and show you my favourite chocolate cakes. So bear with me. Cookidoo. All right. So just whilst we're waiting for this chocolate to melt. Okay, so chocolate cake. I just put chocolate cake in. It will come up with a real goodie. Okay, so this cake, I only discovered this not long ago. This is a really nice cake. So just put chocolate cake in. It says 6 eggs separated, da-di-da-di-da, and I'm going, oh, I've got to whip the egg whites. I've got to put them into a bowl, or if I've got 2 bowls, get my second bowl out, you know, more washing up, etc., etc. So anything for an easy life. So I'm reading all that and I'm having a bit of a look down and I come down to the tips and tricks. Quick chocolate cake. So you melt, you grate the chocolate for 5 seconds, speed 7, similar to what we've just done. Add your butter and melt. Then you add everything else in and mix it up. So that is the cake that I do, the quick one. And what I've done, because we can now import things into created recipes somewhere. Oh, hang on. I'll be up here. No. You can, what I've done is I've put it into my recipes in creative recipes here, and here it is. So what I've done is I've done the quick method. So there we are, exactly as we said. Chop 5 seconds, speed 7, add the butter, melt, add your eggs, everything else, mix it up. So that's one of the really good things about creative recipes. You can make them your own. Okay, let's get out of that for a minute. But before we finish, I will show you some more great chocolate cakes. All right, so let's have a look at this. Oh, yes, that's beautifully melted. So without the risk of turning, oops, tipping it out, which I nearly did. There we are, that's all melted. So the next thing I'm going to do, insert the whisk attachment. So that just means our butterfly. Mine is a very green looking butterfly. I just need some sunshine to put it out in there. Okay, butterfly is in. So next, adding eggs and sugar. So the sugar is 220 grams. So back to my scales. And I'll probably do a little bit less. Although we did have a really interesting lesson. I halved the sugar in a cake not that long ago. It was a couple of people in the team had birthdays, and I thought, oh, I'll make a nice cake. And it was awful because I'd left out too much sugar. So then our wonderful Irene did some research. So I'm going to put 200 grams in. She did some research, and you can only cut the sugar by a third. Otherwise, that changes the structure of the cake. So there you go. You might really like to cut it down. Don't cut it too much. So I've got the, what's that? The eggs and the sugar. So eggs. 3 eggs. They're in here. Oops. There we go. With the sugar. And now I am going to whip for 5 seconds on speed 4. So remembering with your butterfly, it is maximum speed 4 anyway. So I'm just going to set to 5 seconds. Speed 4. So touching the screen stops the noise. Not sure if I said that already. Okay, scrape down the side of the bowl, add the sour cream, the almond meal, and flour. Oh, it's all very thick and very chocolatey looking. Amazing. So scrape the sides down. Don't really get my armpit. Okay, so I'm adding in sour cream. I don't think I've quite got enough sour cream. That's still okay, but let's get the scales up. As I add sour cream, so I need. See, it's a little bit longer when you do it this way, but 250 grams. So I've got the end of this one. That is, I wasn't sure how much that's going to be. It's a little bit under. And I have a new cream, which is 200 grams. Annoying when your recipes don't quite match up with the size of the containers that you can get things in. Anyway, here we go. Just going to get a spatula out to scrape all that out. Okay. So just scrape the rest of this sour cream out. Really a bit rude, isn't it, when you're meant to be too, oh, we might just get in there. You do lose a bit though in the container. All right, so I needed 250. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of yogurt. Now, yogurt is one of the things that how you can help the planet by making your own, all right? Now, this is in a collagen container. I have a really nice mix shop container, but one of them, I've got 2 of them actually, but one of them's in the freezer with a Fruity Dream in it, and the other one has the other half of this yogurt. So I've just put it in here. I might as well reuse it rather than chuck it out, and it just means that I've got really great Greek yogurt in there, and I'm not, continually bringing more containers into the house, and it's cheaper too. So let's just scrape that off. I'm going to cream in my yogurt. And I'm just going to dip in here and get a bit of this out. There we go. So that's that. Oh, what else? Sorry, before I do that, scales on. So sour cream almond meal. So my almond meal was 240 grams. Okay, it's over. And then flour. Now, I don't actually have any self-raising. I've got a little tiny bit of self-raising gluten-free flour here. So I will weigh that in. What I've got, 150 grams. I don't know if I'm going to do that, get that much out. But 65 grams. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit. This is actually Yuki from Wild Sourdough, her gluten-free flour. It's an all-purpose flour. It says bread and pizza, but it's all-purpose. I'm going to add that into up to 150 grams. Okay, and then I'm going to add some baking powder. So on the side of the can actually says somewhere to make self-raising flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder for each cup of plain flour. So I'm going to actually put 2 teaspoons of baking powder in there. So this is just showing you how you can use what you've got in your kitchen as much as possible without having to get new all the time. All right, so all those ingredients are in. Now, half a cup of reserved cherry juice. Well, we're not doing that. So what I'm going to do is put the lid on here, and I'm going to see what it looks like. If I have to add a little tiny bit of milk or something, I've got some almond milk in the fridge. So I am doing whisk for 5 seconds, speed 4, or until smooth. So I might just actually put it on speed 4. And we'll have a look at that. Tell you what's looking like a very good cake. It's called a chocolate fudge cake. It's looking very fudgy. Just going to scrape the sides down and just do another quick little whisk, but I don't think I need the extra liquid. It's fine. Okay, quick little whisk it on speed 4 again. Perfect. Right, got one hell of a mess here. I'm bringing back my tin, and I'm going to pour that mixture into the tin. Actually, what I'm going to do first is try and get the butterfly out so that the butterfly doesn't fall in and mess my my paper sides that I put on there. Okay, and this is the time where really, if no one was looking, good time to lick the butterfly because that looks seriously good. But I'm being very good, and I'm going to get as much as I can off the butterfly. There's no one else here to lick either, so there we go. I'm going to put that down. I might just lick it afterwards. Okay, so now I'm going to pour my mixture into the tin. All right, nearly done, but what I want to show you is another little trick. If you've been around for a while, you'll know this trick because it's my favorite. Okay, we've got a lot of mixture around the blades. So the way to deal with that, let's move that, push that out the way a little bit, is to pop your lid back on, come through to turbo and turbo. To get, for the lid to release in turbo, you have to get out of turbo. And the easiest way to do that is hit the home button. Okay, now you have a look at my blades. See how clean they are? So that just means that I can scrape down a bit more. It's that everything onto the side is the centrifugal force does that. But it's just that, you know, like a really good spin. It spits everything onto the side. Bring my cake tin back here and scrape out some more. So just have a look at how much more comes out. That's almost another slice of cake. Well, maybe half a slice of cake. Okay. So there you go, that's pretty good. All right, so next instruction, bake for 50 minutes. Cover with foil and a further 30 minutes. So it takes a while. So I will bake it exactly as it said. And I will post a picture of this with the video, okay? But just remember, if you can do stuff manually, it takes a bit longer than doing it all, just following the instructions on the screen, but it's definitely possible and it's an easy thing to do. You just got to read, you just got to plan ahead a little bit, okay? And I'll let you know if we enjoy it. I'm sure we will. And I'll enjoy the butterfly.